Welcome to our partial products multiplication video. Remember, you can pause this video at any time, ask myself, Miss Hearn, or ask Mrs. Drake any questions that you need. So let's go ahead and get started and study this video because you will have a quiz on Friday. Let's go through the vocabulary. And I know some of this is the vocabulary that we've done before, but I feel like it's important to review it. So let's review. Product. The product is the answer to a multiplication problem. Factor. A factor is one of two or more numbers that are multiplied together to get a product. So the numbers you multiply together are the factors. And when you multiply those, you get an answer, and that is the product. I'm going to show you a new way to do two-digit by two-digit multiplication, and we are going to break it into partial products. So when you look at this problem, I see a 3 in the tens place. The 3 in the tens place is worth 30. So I'm going to write 30 right here. And the 8 in the ones place is worth 8 ones. Then I'm going to look at this, and I'm going to break this number apart. There are 20, and then we have 7, okay? Now I'm going to put a multiplication symbol right here. I need to multiply everything on the top by everything on the side. So I'm going to start with the 20 and the 30. From last week's video, you learned that you can look at the basic fact. 2 and 3. So what is 2 times 3? Well, that's 6. But here there are 2 zeros. So I'm going to put both zeros on the end. If there were 3 zeros, you would put all the zeros on the end. Remember, I'm not adding the zeros. I am placing the zeros on the end. So 20 times 30 is 600. Excuse me. Now I'm going to do, what is 8 times 20? Well, here are the basic facts again. 8 times 2 is 16. And then I'm going to place the 0 on the end. Remember, I don't add a 0 on the end. I place a 0 on the end. So my answer is 160. Then I'm going to keep going. Now I'm going to do, what is 30 times 7? So again, I can see the basic facts in here. There's a 3 and there's a 7. So what is 7 times 3? Well, that's 21, and then I'm going to place a 0 on the end. So 30 times 7 is 210. And then I'm almost done. I'm going to take 8 times 7. And what is 8 times 7? Well, 8 times 7 is 56. Now, I've got all these numbers right here. What do you think I'm going to do with them? If you said add it, you're right. So I'm going to take 600 plus 160. I know it's very tempting to just add it all up together, but I like to break it apart because it helps me keep track of my place value. And I'm lining up all my numbers. And I'm making sure that I'm writing on the line. So 0 plus 0, 0. 6 plus 0, 6. 6 plus 1, 7. I'm going to add these two bottom numbers together. 6 plus 0, 6. 5 plus 1, 6. And 2. Then I'm going to take these two numbers and I'm going to add them together. So I'm going to take 760 plus 266. So, excuse me, 6 plus 0, 6. 6 plus 6, 12. I'm going to carry the 1. 7 plus 2 plus 1 is 10. So then I'm going to see, now I know what 38 times 27 is. 38 times 27 is 1026. That's my answer. And that's how I learned how to do this, by breaking this number apart. Trust me, we will learn the traditional way, but I want to show you this method as an alternative. Now let's practice that again. 54 times 42. So I am going to take 54 and I'm going to break it up into partial products. I'm going to take 50 from the 54 and 4. I'm going to break this apart, 40 and 2. And then I'm going to put my multiplication symbol. I'm going to do 50 times 40. Well, I know that I can do 5 times 4 because that's a basic fact and I can do that in my head. 5 times 4 is 20. And then I'm going to place the two zeros. There's a 0 here and a 0 here at the end. So that's 2,000. Then I'm going to move over to the next number at the top, which is 4. And I'm going to take 4 times 40. So what's 4 times 4? That's 16, and then I'm going to place a 0 on the end. So that gives me 160. Next, I'm going to move, and I'm going to do 50 times the number at the bottom. So I know 5 times 2. What's 5 times 2? That's 10. And then this 0 right here gets placed on the end. So 50 times 2, well, and if you're thinking in quarters and money, well, 50 cents plus 50 cents is $1 or 100. So 50 times 2 is 100. Last, 4 times 2, everybody should know that. That's going to be 8. So I'm going to take the number 2,000 and I'm going to add it to the number 160. Now that's so easy, but some people, they may need to set the problem up and that's okay. But I'm going to show you that I know that that is 2,160. Then 100 plus 8, well, I know that that's 108. Then I'm going to take 2,160, and I'm going to write the 8 in the ones place, the 0 in the tens place, and the 1 in the hundreds place. And then I'm going to add, because I do not want to scoop my numbers over and get them in their wrong places. So I'm going to add this up. My number is 2,268. So 54 times 42 is going to equal 2,268, and that's my answer. We're going to practice again because I know that this is really tricky, and so that's why I love having a video, because you can pause me at any time and you can rewind me at any time and you can watch me as much as you need to. So I'm going to break this down. 63 gets broken down into what? 60 and 3. Even whenever you say it, you say 63. So I'm going to break it down by 60 and 3. Then I'm going to break this down over here, and I'm going to do 70 and 5. So I've broken that down. 60 gets broken down into 60 and 3. 70 gets broken down into 70 and 5. Then I'm going to put my multiplication symbol. What is 7 times 6? I know 7 times 6 is 42, and there are 2 zeros right here, so I'm going to place them at the end. Then I'm going to move over here to the 3, and I'm going to line it up to what's right here in this row. So this is right here, 7 times 3, that's 21, and I'm placing a 0 at the end. That's 210. 60 times 5. Well, I know 6 times 5 is what? 30, and then I'm going to place that 0 at the end. Not add it, I'm placing it at the end, because you do not add a 0, because 30 plus 0 is 30. And last, 5 times 3, that is 15. So I'm going to take 4,200, and I'm going to add that to 210. Please get in the practice of doing these problems separately. I don't want you stacking 3 on top of each other, because sometimes things get a little confusing and you start to forget your place value, and then things get all kinds of wacky. So I don't want that to happen. I'm adding these up. So I have 4,410 plus 315. So I'm going to do, and I created a new problem. I don't even add it on the bottom, because I want to make sure that I can see my numbers clearly and I'm not scrunching things up. Now I'm going to add. So I'm going to make sure that I am correct. I'm going to look at all of my work, and 63 times 75 is going to be 4,725. Okay? We have one last problem. What do I break 89 down into? I break it down into 80 and 9. I'm pulling out the 80 tens, the 9 ones. This is going to be broken down into 10 from the 14 and a 4. So 8 times 1, well, that's an easy basic fact. 8, and then I'm going to place 2 zeros at the end. Okay? Then I'm going to look 9 times 10. Well, I know that's 90. 8 times 4 is 32. And I'm going to place that 0 on the end. And 9 times 4 is 36. Now, 800 plus 90. And I'm going to do 320 plus 36. I'm going to add those two together. When I add those two up, I get 356 and 890. Now I'm going to take 890, and I'm creating this new problem down here. This is a very good practice. I suggest you try it. Then I'm going to add the 6. 9 plus 5 is 14. Carry the 1. 8 plus 1 is 9 plus 3 is 12. So 89 times 14 is going to be 1,246. So this is our partial products way of multiplying. Please watch this video multiple times, especially if you get stumped on your homework. Do not feel like you cannot come and ask us any questions about your homework. Remember, you may not turn in your homework before Thursday, and we will have a quiz on Friday. So study, study, study this video, because after this video and after we master this, we're going to do the traditional way of multiplying. I wanted to show you that you could break down this number, and this is a strategy that lots of my students have used in the past. Remember, if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask, and ask early. Don't wait until right before your homework is due. Happy flipping.